Welcome, friends. My name's Ethan Klee here with Flipside Yoga, and I'll be your instructor for the evening. This is Monday Night Reset. So tonight we breathe, we flow, and tonight we're going to reignite the energy and the mindful connection between our brain and our body. We're really working tonight on mindful movement and connection of breath with that movement. Monday Night Reset is a unique Monday Night Reset is a unique vinyasa experience. The first 10 minutes dedicated to gentle spinal stretching to really awaken the body and get rid of a lot of desk fatigue or really just work fatigue in general. If we're again tonight is reignite. So we're working on mindful connection to the body. This doesn't have a specific muscle focus, but today we'll be utilizing the core a lot. Again, this class is split into two distinct parts. The first 10 minutes being all seated, standing, or chair spinal stretching. Today, I think I will join us standing. So if you would like to retain your easy posture, feel free. If you'd like to stand with me, you are welcome. And if you'd like to do this from a chair, I'll also be providing you some alternate cues. For those standing, take your feet about hip width distance apart, giving a generous bend to your knees as much as you need today. Play with placing your feet. You can bring up your toes and then your heels. Just playing with those connection points similar to those who were seated. All right, we'll get started. Today we'll take a neutral spinal position by coming into Tadasana mountain pose, engaging our arms up. The gaze can float slightly upward. Our fingers become as wide as we can get them. Our shoulders engage down the back. Our rib cage slatting together. The navel tucking through all the way to the spine. The tailbone rounding slightly under. Pressing through all four corners with both feet to engage the thighs. Lifting up on the kneecaps. This is an engaged standing Tadasana pose. We'll be returning to it often. Inhale, dropping the arms to 90-degree angles, guiding the chest through our shoulders upwards towards the sky and dropping the head slightly. This is my favorite posture, I've decided. There's nothing like a good chest opener. Inhale, guiding the arms back up overhead. Tadasana, again making sure we're not shrugging the shoulders up. We're guiding the shoulder blades together and down our back. Inhale, forward fold. For those seated, you'll take your hands to the ground. For those in a chair, maybe just to your desk, or just laying your chest engagedly on your thighs. For those standing, guide your hands to heart center as we hinge at the waist for forward fold. Taking our hands all the way to the ground if we can today. Again, applying a very generous bend to our knees. Inhale, halfway lift, straightening the legs. For those in seated or chair, you can skip the halfway lift. Bringing the spine as straight as possible, parallel to the ground. Hands up the side or in front of the thighs. Inhale, forward fold. On your next inhale, root to rise, pushing through the soles of the feet, even if you're seated, and rising slowly, vertebra by vertebra, ragdoll style. Coming back to that neutral spine position. The last thing to rise should be your chin. Give yourself a good little adjustment. Clothes like to not cooperate in ragdoll forward fold. We'll take it to our side bends, guiding the hands up overhead for engaged Tadasana. We inhale, and exhale. Inhale, guide your gaze up as you guide your hands together, locking our hands either completely or in little yogi guns. Inhale, stretch pointing those index fingers over to your left, making sure we aren't sticking out our right thighs to incorporate this stretch. We want to keep fairly neutral hips. Again, adding a generous bend to your knees if you need to. Re-engage your Ujjayi breath if you've lost it. Inhale back to center. And exhale onto the other side, pointing our index fingers over to the right. Again, making sure that we're just engaging that side body by not sticking our hips out one way or the other. If you are seated in a chair or on the ground, a great option for these side stretches if you're not feeling it as much as you'd like is to plant one hand on the ground, providing stability to engage the stretch further. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, releasing those hands back down to our cactus arms, 90 degrees, pushing the chest forward for a cactus back bend. Here we want to keep the arms engaged instead of pulling them back, keeping our shoulders neutral. Inhale, back to engaged Tadasana. Exhale, one last forward fold for this part. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, you can skip this if you are seated. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Either swan arms or arms straight out in front. All the way back. Engage Tadasana. And our final, I almost said flex, but that's a whole different thing. Our final movement for the spine today is a twist. So we're going to lower both arms straight out ahead of us. On your next inhale, drop the right arm down, raising it in the back, pulling your chest open to the right. Again, making sure that we're engaging our hips straight forward and not moving them, because that's not twisting your spine. If you want to engage this twist even further, guide your gaze back to your right thumb. But be aware this can also help make your hips arc in the direction you don't want them to. Windmill that arm back to the front. You guessed it, drop the left hand down, raising it behind you. Again, option to bring your gaze back to that left thumb. If you have a giant chair back, feel free to adjust how you're sitting in your chair. Otherwise, bringing your arm to just the edge of it won't do too much harm. You won't engage the stretch as fully, but you will still get a twist. Inhale, windmilling your arms all the way back up to Tadasana. Lowering our hands down to heart center. Good job, you guys. We finished our first 10-minute stretch here. So if that's all that you have time for yourself today, thank you so much for taking this time. I express so much gratitude to you. This is how it starts. This is how you get a good habit going. If you're ready to keep going into the rest of class, of course, you're invited, and we'll get right into it. Right, so everyone can stay at Tadasana, standing pose. We're going to toe heel our feet together, toes touching, heels slightly apart. Give yourself a few rocks back and forth, maybe a few knee bends, just to really sit into this posture. Again, we're driving the heels into the ground, pulling up on the knees, tucking the tailbone slightly, tucking the navel to the spine, knitting the rib cage together. Our arms are rolled down our backs. You can leave your hands at your sides for now. And relaxing the jaw. Re-engage your Ujjayi breath for 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And let it go. All right, our first little mini section of today, we're going to be going to peak at a half split. If you have any contraindications for your hips specifically, I'll give you a few modifications as we go. We're going to inhale, drawing the hands up for that engaged Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Again, as much of a bend in your knees as you need today is totally fine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Going to rise all the way back up, giving our spine a total relaxation. We're going to take our hands behind us, knitting them together, and re-engaging a forward fold. Letting your arms drift above your head behind you. Exhale, letting your hands go, releasing them to the mat. And walking your feet back for high plank. Our hands are directly under our shoulder blades. Our core is engaged. We're gonna go for a slow chaturanga. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, lowering less than halfway down in a tricep push-up. Hold. Inhale, pushing the chest through the shoulders, flipping the feet under, and then pressing just on the tops of our feet and into our hands to sustain upward facing dog. Exhale, hinging at the waist, flipping over your toes for downward facing dog. In this first downward facing dog, give yourself some time to pedal out your hamstrings, pushing all the way back through one, and then pedaling out to the other leg. Back and forth as much as you feel you need today. Whew, I've got some tight hamstrings today. We're gonna inhale, finding stillness in this downward dog. Hands out in front, knees bent as much as we need. We are interiorly rotating. I don't know what that was supposed to be. We're interiorly rotating our biceps, thinking about pulling them in towards our ears, while making sure that our shoulders are still engaged down our back. Inhale, open mouth exhale. Inhale, shift your gaze forward. Exhale, bringing our right foot up between our hands for runner's lunge. Pushing back through the heel, option to set the knee down if you'd like. Inhale, lowering that knee if it wasn't already. And here, if you have your foot raised or your knee raised, make sure that you're pushing back through that back foot before resting your knee, or you won't have enough room for this next posture. We're gonna hinge back, pulling on this hip crease until our right knee is straight. We're trying to keep our hips up in the air instead of resting down on our left foot for half split or Ardha Hanumanasana. Attempting to straighten the back. A little roundness is okay here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rolling forward, pressing the hands against the ground, lifting that left knee, and sending that right foot back. chaturanga. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, lowering down, tricep push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, hinging at the hips as if a rope is tied around your tailbone, pulling you back. In any of our downward dogs today, feel free to throw in a couple open mouth exhales. Ujjayi breath builds heat within the core. Letting go of that heat when you need to is not a bad thing. Inhale, shift your gaze forward. Exhale, this time bringing our left foot up and between our hands for runner's lunge. Option for knee floating or on the ground, but pushing back through that heel regardless. Inhale, push back through that heel, then lower that knee if it isn't already there. Exhale, hinging, but pulling back on that hip crease. Too many H words today. On that hip crease. Whew. Left hip is a lot worse for wear than my right today. Again, we're trying to float the hips in the air. Some roundness to the spine is okay, but we're trying to go for straight. Inhale, rolling forward, lifting that back foot, and then sending the left foot back for high plank. Again, making sure we're engaging the core here. Chaturanga. If the chaturanga push-up is too much for you right now, or you'd like to build some core strength to tackle it a little bit firmer, option to just stay in high plank until we hit downward dog. We'll meet you there. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhaling, meeting us in downward dog if you were in plank. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth exhale. Inhale, shift the gaze forward. Exhale, step or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Either bringing the arms swan up to the top or engaging them out in front of you. Hands up at the top. Shift your gaze as if you're holding a tiny little beach ball. You don't want to drop it. Shrug the shoulders down the spine. And inhale, guide the hands through heart center, all the way down, back to forward fold. Plant the hands. Step your feet back to high plank. And then hinge at the waist for downward dog. We're going to move into three-legged dog. This first one will go exceptionally slow. Inhale, making sure our knees are bent as much as we need for today. Engaging through the fingers. Lifting the right foot behind us. Making sure that our hips aren't opening out to the side. We want our hips facing towards the ground. Inhale, shift the gaze forward. And exhale, drawing your right foot up between your hands. Again, for that runner's lunge. Stay where you're at. I'm just going to switch sides so you can actually see what we're about to do. We're going to take on a kind of fun lizard variation. So with the back knee drawn up, pushing through that back left ankle, draw your hands out to the far left side of your mat. Should look like hand, foot. But then take your hands off the mat. Further, straight out from your hips. Option to stay here for this weird little lizard variation. Option to come down to forearms if you'd like to engage the hips more in this stretch. Either way, making sure we're pushing through that left ankle and engaging our weight in our big toe and the back right side of our heel on our right foot. Inhale, rise if you were on elbows. Exhale, guide your hands back over to a normal runner's lunge. Hands on either side of your foot. And exhale, send that right foot back. High lunge. Chaturanga, inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Option for open mouth exhale here. And on your next inhale, shift your gaze up between your hands. Drawing now the left foot forward between them. Again, stay where you're at. I'm just going to shift. For viewers' sake. Inhale, stepping. Placing your hands out in front of your hips off the mat. Option to stay here. Option to engage down to forearms for our fun little lizard variation. Again, making sure we're engaging through the right heel. Placing our weight in the big toe and the left blade edge of our left foot. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale back up to hands if you were on your forearms. And stepping our hands back to runner's lunge. Exhale, sending the left foot back for high plank. Chaturanga, inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, tricep push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We made it through the lizard variation. We got this. The next mini sequence, the next section of our sequence today, I should say, is very similar. We're working on going up to Warrior 1 now. Inhale, shifting the gaze between the hands. Exhale, sending the right foot forward, up between our hands. Inhale, drop the left foot so that it is at approximately a 45-degree angle facing the top left side of your mat. Engage through both of your feet. Engage your core lock. And rise through the trunk, arms overhead, setting down into Warrior 1. Warrior 1 has arms up. Head's been upside down too long today. Our arms are staying engaged directly up. We're keeping a 90-degree angle in our front foot. Our left leg is straight through to the ankle, pressing through on that knife edge, making sure there's balanced weight in our front big toe, or in our back big toe, your left big toe. Stay here on 2 breaths. Inhale. Once more, inhale. And let it go. Inhale, letting your arms back down to the mat. Exhale, floating that right foot back, high plank. Chaturanga, again, option to stay in plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, let's go. Inhale, shift the gaze between the hands. Exhale, guiding the left leg up, in between our hands. Inhale, dropping the back foot so it's at a 45-degree angle, facing up towards the top right side of our mat. Inhale, pressing through both feet, engaging the core lock, and raising up for Warrior One. Again, a 90-degree angle in our front leg. Your left ankle should be pointing back directly to the center of your right foot. They're sharing a lane, so to speak. We're reaching back in this right foot, right leg, all the way down to the ankle. And engaging the arms, just like we would with Tadasana, straight overhead. Shoulders engaged down the back. Fingers spread as far as we can. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. You got a bonus breath, because on your next exhale, you're going to lower the hands down to the mat, sending that left foot back for Chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're almost done, guys. Last little bit, here we go. Inhale, shifting the gaze between the hands. Exhale, guiding the right foot up, hovering it. Our knee is to our chest. And exhale, go ahead and set that foot down, runner's lunge. Pushing through the back ankle. We rise for crescent lunge, keeping that left ankle off the ground. Option to lower your knee. Try to hover it if you want a real challenge. Crescent lunge here. Inhale, shifting the hands down to heart center. Exhale, shifting the trunk of the body forward, and then rotating it to your right, setting your left elbow on your right knee for this twist. Again, pushing back through that back ankle. Inhale and exhale. One more solid breath here. Inhale and exhale. Guiding the trunk up, untwisting, and setting hands down. Good job. Setting that back foot to high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to go straight to the other side. Inhale, shifting the gaze forward. Exhale, guiding the left knee up to your chest. Holding, holding, holding. And exhale, go ahead and set that foot down for runner's lunge. Once again, push back through that right ankle. Inhale, engage the core lock, and rise for crescent lunge. Again, option to hover that right knee if you really want to crank up the core strength. We're making sure shoulders are engaged down the back. Inhale, lower the hands to heart center. Exhale, shifting forward and engaging our twist. Right elbow to left knee. One more solid breath here. Inhale and exhale. Lifting from that knee, untwisting. Go ahead and set those hands down. Pushing the left foot back. High plank. One more Chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Get your open mouth exhales in here. Inhale, rise on the toes, slowly setting the knees down. Guide them out to the far sides of the mat, pushing the hips back, sending the hands out long in front of you for wide-legged child's pose. Give yourself a good pat on the back. Grab yourself a drink of water if you'd like. We've made it to the cool down. Give yourself as many open mouth exhales as you'd like. The rest of our cool down is going to be on our back. So inhale, rise to tabletop. Keep your knees out wide. Fun little trick I like for switching to my back from here is crossing my ankles either way. I'm just sitting back so that they come out in front of me. Go ahead and readjust. Bring your feet flat to the ground, knees bent out in front of you. Inhale, round the back as you come all the way down. Re-engage your feet to the floor. Send your knees out wide. You can bring either both hands to the ground. You can rest them on your thighs. Rest them on the floor. If you'd like the traditional, it is your dominant hand on your belly, your non-dominant hand close to your heart. Guide your knees back together. Exhale, guide your right foot, right ankle to your left knee, flexing that foot. Inhale, guide your hands through the little hole that you've created, and on the left side, grabbing your thigh, pulling it gently towards your chest for supine pigeon. If you'd like to feel this stretch more, you can express your elbow out to hold your knee in place. Pull a little bit closer to your chest. And exhale, setting that foot down. And re-engaging the posture on the other side. Left ankle to right knee. Left arm goes through the figure four. Right hand grabs on the right side of the thigh. Pull gently towards your chest. Again, option to push on that left knee slightly to engage further into the posture. We want to make sure that our left foot, in this case, the foot on top of our knee, is flexed to avoid metacarpals, to avoid ankle tendon injury. Pull a little bit closer to your chest if you can. And exhale, releasing to the floor, letting both feet find the ground. Do some windshield wipers, bringing our knees over to the left. Exhaling them to center. And inhaling them over onto the right. Back to center. And to the left. Restoring neutrality to our feet. go for happy baby. Bending the knees, guiding our hands to the outsides of our feet. Push against our hands pull our feet straight down. You can extend one side or the other or both. This is the posture where we're really glad that we're at home and not in a studio. No, this is probably one of my favorite postures as well, but the first time you do it, feel really silly. Go ahead and exhale, release your feet all the way down to the ground, legs out long. We'll take one final long body stretch before we engage Shavasana. Putting the feet out long, our hands out long above our head. Really reach as far as you can. And exhale, letting your legs go. Bringing your hands back down to your sides. And just letting yourself take up space here. Shavasana corpse pose is how we finalize our workout for today. Letting go of our breath. And returning our body to a sense of stillness. If meditation isn't your jam yet, it can be easy for thoughts to flow back into your brain at the end of a workout especially. So if you find your brain is just frazzled out, so many lines of dialogue, guide your thoughts back to your breathing and re-engage an Ujjayi breath. Friends, you are welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you are able to. This is your time, your posture. If you're ready to be guided out of our practice this evening, start by wiggling just one finger. And then maybe add in another, or a toe. Wiggling your ankles, or rotating your wrists. Drawing motion back to the body gently. And with your eyes closed, guide your knees to your chest, giving them a good hug if you'd like, and then rolling onto one or the other side, whichever is your favorite. You can use your bicep as a pillow if you'd like. And if you can, with your eyes closed, guide yourself up to an easy seated posture. You can use the edges of your mat to guide you if that's helpful. To close class, we like to find an intention. This can be a goal or an objective you have in your life or work. This can be a power statement for yourself. Whatever it may be, think of it now. Try to engage it in present tense. For instance, I am powerful, or I have the resources to fulfill my goals. We inhale through the nose to charge this statement, and exhale it to send it to the world through the mouth. Once more, inhale through the nose, and Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, sending your hands to heart center, relaxing our palms against each other and our fingertips. We guide our hands to third eye center, resting our thumbs comfortably on our brow. The student, the teacher, and the light in me acknowledges and shows the utmost respect for the light, the teacher, and the student in you. We bow forward to seal our practice. Thank you guys so much for coming to another Monday night reset class. If you are still in Shavasana, feel free. This is your time. Soak it up. If you are fully out of Shavasana, again, thank you so much for coming to class. I appreciate you coming so much and show so much gratitude for the amount of attention and love that you just showed your body. I am so proud of you. And I'm, again,